Hi, my name's Paul. Some call me Mr Landcruiser, and 40 Series Land Cruisers are my passion. Would I ever not own a 40 Series Land Cruiser? Not a chance. I live and breathe them. I'm around them every single day. I even take them on the holidays with me. This is my passion. I first got into four-wheel driving, didn't realise that I was into it. I left school, worked on a farm, got given a FJ45 as a farm ute, and the passion just started then, started early, and right into Toyotas from the start, I guess. So I got into four-wheel driving early, I didn't even realise it, and passion began. One of my earlier FJ45 builds, I was struggling to find parts. I found it easier to buy a complete donor car. So that led to me having a stockpile of parts in my yard. That's where the passion started to turn into a job. And that's really how Mr Landcruiser began. So what started as a passion for supplying parts that were rare has now turned into new parts, fit-outs, mechanicals. Never thought I would be the go-to guy for these parts, but with such a passion, it just evolved and it was meant to be. My favourite four-wheel drive that I've purchased is the one sitting next to me, HJ47. I've had it just on 8 years, and here we are today. The reason this truck's been with me for so long, and it's a favourite, is I love the diesel. I also love the years, 82 to 84. It's the classic, it's got the tacho, the clock, it's the sought after model. The 40 Series Ute is such an iconic car. It's got such a big history in Australia. It's hard not to fall in love with it. Done a lot of mods to this one myself, and it's evolved from there. The first thing I did to it was the suspension. It was farm spec. It sat way too low, the suspension was old. So I put a 3-inch lift in it. So the reason I did this, the 3-inch, was better off-road, higher off the ground, but also I added 500 kilo weight carrying, so it's just a good work ute, and I tow a bit too, so it's a really personalised setup. And then to move away from the farm spec, I added bigger tyres. I put the 33s on there, went to my legal limit, and that makes a difference off-road as well. I went 50 mil bigger, just to get off the ground a bit extra height, a bit softer ride too. It had a homemade bull bar on it. I ran for a while. I was pretty keen to get that off. And so I've got this old school bar on there now, winch compatible, and we custom built a set of scrub bars to protect the side of the vehicle, which run down and also protect the seals. I just, reading in forums, I wanted a bit more grunt while four-wheel driving. So everyone knows the 2H is a bit slow. So I was pretty keen to get a bit more grunt, so the turbo went on early as well. Being a work ute and a tourer, it does a lot of work on the road as well, so I was pretty keen to upgrade the gearbox, put a 5-speed, and that's knocked the revs down a fair bit. So it just makes it a lot more comfortable when I'm on the highway doing highway speeds. So the HJ47 never came out standard with power steering. So one of the hardest and biggest mods of this build has been the power steering. A lot's gone into it to get it up to spec. I've put a 60 series power steering upgrade in there. This one never came with aircon, so I fitted it myself, but that took up the room of the airbox, so hence the Donaldson's on the outside of the vehicle. There's no room for an airbox under the hood anymore. It was pretty important for me to keep up with my mates, so the lockers front and rear had to go in, so I can go a lot further off-road. Makes a world of difference. So at the rear, I've got the custom-built canopy, got the roof rakes on top, carrying my spare tyres out of the road, frees up the ute for work, and I got the awning, throw the swag under when I'm travelling. So I feel that's the best way to have things set up for on the big trips. So inside the cab, I've opted for 60 series seats. They're a little bit more modern, they've got lumbar support, and the 40 was not built for comfort. So I've got the custom built console as well, which houses from speakers, UHF, HEMA, reverse camera, locker switches. A tow truck and a workhorse. I've also upgraded the brakes, changed the booster to an 80 series booster, and she pulls up a lot quicker now. So when I purchased it, it was very stock standard. It had no accessories. It was straight off a farm. They gave it a respray, a shut door respray, and that was it. Everything I've built since. I've added child restraint. I had to get that mod plated, but it's 40's not really a family car, but somehow I squeezed everyone in, and now my daughter sits up high. She loves it. My family love getting out. They love the adventure. And we're always talking about the next trip, so there's always excitement there with the whole family. One thing that gives me a big kick is how much my daughter loves riding in the Landcruiser. So I'm going to start her driving them young, and hopefully she'll have a 40 by the time she gets her learners as well. I've already got her personalised number plates. She's only 4. I actually bought them when she was 2. The main things that appeal to me about four-wheel driving is it's the lifestyle. You can get out, you go camping, you get out of the city. I love southeast Queensland. You've got beaches, inland tracks. The last few years, Victorian high country in the snow, and Flinders Range is a huge highlight for me as well. They're all a favourite in their own right. It's pretty hard to choose that one. Moving on to the other build, this one's pretty exciting for us around here. It's an FJ45, 1984. It's a concourse ground up, so everything is original or better. It's going to be like stepping out back into 1984, going to the dealership with all the trim. So it's got power steering, aircon. It's plated 11-seater. It's original colour. We want this one to be perfect. Build's going to have all the mods for its time. We've even sourced all genuine door cards, visors, gear sticks, weather strips. It's going to be a brand new car. The passion for me is helping people find the parts that they can't find, and also helping them with knowledge. Particular years need particular parts, and I've gained that knowledge. One of the things I love is that people can come around, and I can see it in their faces. They get as excited as I do. They own the same car, just as passionate. They want to come around and ask questions, and we've done it here, or we're doing it, so we can really communicate on helping people build their own cars. That's what Mr Landcruiser's about. I gave up a 21-year career for this, and this is meant to be work. There's not much work about it when you're that passionate. I really love what I do.